I'm going to talk about one of the requirements in your syllabus, which is a presentation on a therapeutic modality of your choice. You can use Keynote or a PowerPoint. I'm just a little more comfortable with Keynote, so that's what I'm going to use here. And I'm going to talk about biofeedback interventions. One of the things that you need to do in your presentation is provide a description of the therapeutic modality or definition. So this is where I'm going to start here. Basically, with biofeedback, bio is biological or physiological feedback. And we often use either standalone units or computerized systems to provide feedback on what's going on physiologically. We use electrodes. We hook people up to electrodes to directly to the standalone units or the computerized equipment to get a sense of what's going on physiologically. And what we're hoping to do is when we get that feedback, we can make adjustments. Oftentimes we're trying to learn relaxation techniques, and we want to know if those techniques that we're learning is actually creating relaxation in the system. So with the feedback, we can see what's working and what's not working. So biofeedback is basically using equipment to give us feedback on what's going on physiologically. And with that feedback, then we can modulate, increase gains in terms of what we want to achieve regarding outcomes. And oftentimes, it's used to help us with relaxation techniques. Basically, this slide just tells me that we need to see a little videotape, a little segment of a video clip, I should say. So I hope you enjoy it.
The physiological activity that is going on inside your body and nervous system is a process that is constantly changing, moving, and responding. It responds to what happens in the outer world around you, but also to your inner world of thought, perception, and emotion. Indicators like heart rate, respiration, blood circulation, body temperature, and others adjust themselves constantly based on the feedback they get from the body's inbuilt sensors to find the optimal balance and state. These vital rhythms define your very life, your health, wellness, and performance. But what if this activity is out of balance? Many modern health problems, such as tension headaches, stress-related anxiety, hyperventilation, high blood pressure, and forms of chronic pain, as well as attention and mental performance problems, stem from neurobiological dysfunctions, as well as from behavior and lifestyle patterns. In that case, we should not simply only rely on pills and medication. Lifestyle, stress, or in other words, behavior, can also be a cause for health and performance problems. Many researchers, clinicians, and health professionals are becoming increasingly interested to understand the role of the human nervous system and behavior in health and performance. This is the exciting scientific field where psychology and physiology meet. Biofeedback and neurofeedback refer to technology which enables us to literally see what the body is doing in real time. It's like having a mirror in which we can see the physiological signals of the mind-body system. And this enables us to notice and learn how to gain control over our physiological state, our stress levels, attention, and performance.
With biofeedback, we can purchase or obtain different games, different software programs that have games that help us learn what we want to learn in terms of physiological control, such as relaxation. So I might be able to engage in a game where I'm in a car and I'm learning to control the speed of that car and navigate down some roads. And oftentimes that can be done with a variety of biofeedback techniques. We'll get to that in a second. But as I am better able to control what's going on in the screen in terms of the speed of the car and the direction of the car, I'm typically improving my state of relaxation, for example, if that's what I'm working on. So games are great, especially for children, but they're also great for adults because we're basically kids at heart, and we love learning new things, and games are a good way to do it. This slide is about the various techniques used in biofeedback. We have different types of biofeedback that are used for different presenting problems. For example, you wouldn't use EMG biofeedback for migraine headaches. You would use thermal biofeedback, and there's a reason for that. We'll get to it in a bit. But the different types: thermal biofeedback, which is body temperature, basically. And so you're attached to a probe on your finger, which measures your body temperature. And the goal here is to warm the extremities. Maybe you might use some imagery of your hands over a campfire to try to warm your hands. As you warm your hands, more often than not, you're going to create greater stages, or greater levels, I should say, of relaxation as a result. So thermal biofeedback is very useful with migraine headaches. And again, we're going to talk about that down the road here. But it is one type of biofeedback. Then we have EMG, electromyographic biofeedback, which basically you've got a couple probes that tries to measure the electrical activity in a major muscle group. And so if you're trying to focus on relaxing a specific part of the body, this would be useful. This is often used with muscle tension headaches. Obviously, with muscle tension headaches, we've got increases in muscle tension. So we're going to try to relax the muscles. And this is one type of biofeedback that can help us do that. There's also galvanic skin response biofeedback. It's called other things, but that's the most common one, which basically measures electrical conductance underneath the skin, and which reflects perspiration on the surface of the skin or slightly below the skin. And we know when we're nervous, we sweat. So if we can modulate that and decrease that, we can create greater stages, or I should keep saying greater levels of relaxation. So galvanic skin response is another technique. Then there's EEG, which is electroencephalographic biofeedback, and that's looking at brainwave patterns. And so you might practice alpha, theta, beta for a variety of reasons, working with ADHD, for example, or chemical addictions. That's kind of the modality that we use for those kinds of conditions. Then there's heart rate variability, which basically we're trying to have an impact on heart rate. It just kind of means what it says. And if we can slow the heart rate down, oftentimes, again, we can create greater relaxation. Then there's something called respiratory sinus arrhythmia biofeedback, which looks at respiration. So we're trying to focus on diaphragmatic breathing and slowing it down, again, creating greater relaxation, hopefully as a result of that. So those are some of the techniques that are used in biofeedback. And again, you wouldn't use one technique for everything. You need to know what the presenting problem is so you can pick the appropriate technique that has the most success with that particular presenting problem.